Okay, hello, good morning. Welcome back to our October week 1 Saturday class. Okay, Arima, is it only you? I believe the rest are late as usual. Okay, so, here comes. Right, yes, hello, Sebastian, good morning. Okay, so, yes, what are we going to talk about today? We finished our syllabus already. So last week was seminar, so that's why I don't have my class. So today, we will go into Form 4 Section C. All right, Form 4 Section C. So this should be in your October notes. Okay, should you receive it, you should be able to see this thing, which is your science Form 4 or experiment. All right, so this is a very important part for me to talk about. It's a must score in your exam. All right, before that, let me explain what do I mean. All right, so your science has paper 1 and 2, as you know. Okay, paper 1 is your objective. The one I'm not worried. This one you can tembak. Please don't tembak. You should know how to do. Okay, so paper 2, you have section A, section B, and section C. Okay, section A, B, and C. These two in front is question 1 to 9. Section C is question 10, 11, and 12. This is our focus for these 2 weeks. These few weeks, we are going to study section C. Why? Because section C carries the most marks. All right, so each question carry 10 marks. Okay, each question carry 10 marks. That's how heavy they are. So today we are going to focus on question 10 exactly. This is our experiment. This is a must-do question in your exam. And it's a must score 10 marks for you. It's a very easy 10 marks for you. Okay, you might say, is it so easy? Easy 10 marks? Yes, it is. You will know what I mean later. Okay, it's not as difficult as you imagine. So the section A and B in front is mostly 1 or 2 mark question, whereas the section C, question 10, it's a solid 10 mark question. Why do I say this is a must score? Because this is an experiment question. What do I mean? When you're writing experiment, when you have done an experiment in school, usually what do you write? You will write a science report, right? Inside a science report, what do you usually write? Oh, your variables. Okay. Aim, problem statement, objective, hypothesis, apparatus and material, procedure, conclusion. You write things like that, right? Even if you don't, you copy your friend's one, you should be able, you should at least know what you're copying. So this is your experiment. All right, so it's a must score. Even if you don't study, you should be able to score this, because later I will give you all the experiment that will be, that will possibly come out in your Form 4. All right, so this is a question that we can actually predict because it's always that few question. So there's no reason for you not to score. It is a 10 mark free for you. Okay, sound as good as it is. All right, so anyway, let's look at our experiments. Let's look at so how do you write it? Okay, before we start everything, let me give you the format. Let me get a format. Okay, there's a format in writing everything. All right, so before doing anything, the most important thing that you should know would be your variables. Right? Variables are the most important things in the experiment. Because if you get your variables wrong, everything will be wrong. If your variable is wrong, that means you don't understand the experiment. Okay, for example, okay, variables you have 3. Manipulated, you have responding, and you have constant. Okay, pemboleh ubah dimanipulasi, pemboleh ubah bergerak balas, and pemboleh ubah dimalahkan. For simplicity's sake, I'm just going to call it MV, RV, and CV. I don't want to keep saying manipulated variable because it's a mouthful. I'm just going to call it MV. Okay, for simplicity's sake. Okay, so MV is something you try to control. All right, RV is something you try to observe. What is the experiment giving you back? CV are the things that you don't change. Okay, do you know experiment is everywhere? You do experiment okay, for example, now you want to know whether which brand of tire is better? Brand A or brand B? So what do? You set the manipulated variable. What's your MV? The MV is the type of tire, the brand of the tire. What is the RV? Which one is more fuel saving? Which one saves more petrol? Or which one is faster? Let's say you're racing. So other things, you are keeping it constant. You are using the same car, okay, the same driver, the same road condition, everything remains the same. Other things you don't change. Okay. Yes, good morning, Yishan. So we are talking about experiment, by the way. Question 10. Okay, question 10 in your exam, which is this October notes, you should have it ready. All right, so MV, RV, and CV. Okay, let me repeat. MV is your manipulated variable, RV is your responding variable, CV is your constant variable. Okay, let me tell you this. You always only have one MV and one RV. Okay, CV you have more than one. Okay, you do experiment all the time. Okay, for example, you're trying out a new dish. You are cooking a new dish. Your mom is cooking something new. Okay, so she don't know whether adding more salt tastes better or adding less salt tastes better. So she will cook it twice. Okay, what's the MV? What is the thing that she changed? One, she used less salt. One, she used more salt. Salt is the MV. Okay, what's the RV? How delicious it is lah. Okay, that's the responding, or see which one you like it more. You see, you are experimenting. So what are the things you remain the same? You use the same dish. You cook the same dish. Okay, you use the same pot. You use the same amount of fire. You use the same amount of other flavors. Okay, you add the same amount of oyster sauce, you add the same amount of everything. It's just that the salt you are changing. You see, we only change one thing in every experiment. Because you see, let's say I'm testing my tire just now. I'm trying to find out whether brand A tire is better or brand B tire is better. You would use the same Myvi to test the same tire. You wouldn't put tire A on a Myvi and then tire B on a Lamborghini. How do you compare? They are two different cars. Of course, the Lamborghini is going to be better. You put shit tire on Lamborghini, it's still better because it's a freaking Lamborghini. Right? You put the most expensive tire on a Myvi, it still drives like a Myvi because it's a Myvi. Okay, so you don't change the type of car. You keep it the same car. You're just changing the tire. You're only changing one variable. You see, you can only have one MV always. If you have more than one MV, then your experiment is invalid. Your experiment is wrong. So you see, if you can get your MV, RV, and CV right, that means you understand what you are doing. If you don't, that means you don't understand. The experiment, you have no idea. You are blur as hell. All right. So your MV, your RV, and your CV. You always have one, and more than one. Okay, so after you have your variables, you should be able to write these few things. Number one, problem statement. Okay, problem statement or objective or aim. They are the same thing. Basically, they are the same thing. All right, so how do you write aim and objective? These two, they are okay. What's the difference between aim, objective, and problem statement? Aim and objective, they are in sentence form. Okay, let's say I have an apple. In sentence form. Problem statement is in question form. Do I have an apple? They are the same. They are the same. It's just that one is in sentence, one is in question. Okay, so how do you write this? There's a formula for this. You can copy this down. Okay, you can copy all these down. Okay, they are your answering technique. Okay, so how do you write your aim and objective? To study the relationship between MV and RV. Okay, like just now, the type of tire and how fuel saving the tire is. How much petrol do you save? Okay, so that will be to study the relationship between the type of tire and the fuel saving effect of the tire. Okay, to study the relationship between salt and the deliciousness of the dish. You see, so MV and RV, you see, it's always this formula. So that's why I say if your MV, RV is wrong, everything will be wrong. This is the basis of your experiment. That means you understand. So to study the relationship between MV and RV, for BM, untuk mengkaji hubungan antara MV dan RV. That's what BM. Okay, so how about problem statement? You just do this in question form lah. Okay, you just do this in question form lah. You can either say, does MV affect RV? Okay, adakah MV mempengaruhi RV? Or you can write it in a longer form. What is, just now we say to study the relationship, right? What is the relationship between MV and RV? Okay, apakah hubungan antara MV dan RV? You see, it's the same. It's the same. And you know what's the best part? Usually in your exam, according to format, they will ask problem statement and they will ask objective and aim. You will write both. 2 marks. Okay, they give you means you take, don't ask, just take. You see, this is why I say, even if you don't study, this is a must score 10 marks for you. Okay, because all experiments, they are the same. Let me tell you this, your Form 4 experiment, there isn't many. Okay, there aren't many. You know why? Because some chapters, they have no experiment. For example, the fire extinguisher chapter, got experiment, meh? Don't have. Okay, the measuring temperature one, the one got experiment, meh? Don't have. Your nuclear chapter, the last chapter, any experiment there? No. Your hormone chapter, from your head to toe, all your hormones got experiment? No. Your genetic chapter, any experiment in your genetic chapter, your continuous, discontinuous, variation, all those? No. Only that few chapters have experiment. So your Form 4 experiments, they are only roughly around 10. So when you study all 10, basically you can go to exam because they are all the same. All right, so this is your aim and objective. Next would be your hypothesis. I don't think I need to teach you how to write hypothesis, right? So the higher the MV, the lower the RV, or the lower, the higher, the lower, the lower, the higher, the higher, the higher, the lower, the lower. Don't tell me you don't know how to write hypothesis. Yeah, I'm going to smack you. Okay, so this is your problem, hypothesis. What else? That would be your apparatus. Okay, usually this will be given in exam. They will give you a list of apparatus and you have to plan that experiment. They are not telling you how to do. You plan it yourself. But it will be usually very obvious. When you look at the apparatus, when you look at this thing in the question, you will know, okay, I know what to do now. Very, very obvious one. What you will understand later. Okay, next will be your procedure. Okay, this one please copy down. Procedure is very important. Procedure carries 4 marks. Okay, listen here. Procedure, when your school teacher teach you to write, she will usually say, the longer you write, the better. You need to write 8 steps, 9 steps. You can ask her to go to hell. You know why? 4 marks. Why would you want to write so many? Sometimes I seriously don't understand school teacher. Your BM teacher, your BI teacher, they will say, the longer you write the essay, the better. What kind of stupid bullshit is that? Okay, why do I say so? Because I used to teach English. Okay, I seriously hate it when students say, oh, the question wants 180 words, I better write 400. When is 300 or 200 something not enough? If your essay is short and precise and compact enough, even 200 words makes a very good essay. So please don't believe in the bullshit saying that, oh, I need to write longer because that guy beside me writes longer than me. I cannot lose to him. Hello, this is not a competition. Okay, so your procedure, you only need 4 steps. Okay, listen here. How do you write this 4? And how do you score this 4? Very easy. Number 1, draw. Draw your diagram here. draw a diagram of your experiment that you're trying to do. A picture says 1,000 words. Why would you not draw? Okay, so number one, what do you write? The apparatus is arranged, or not arranged, let's say set up. Okay, is set up as shown. Okay, radas disusun seperti, okay, seperti ditunjukkan. Okay, the experiment is set up as shown. Why would you? Okay, some teacher, they're very crazy one. They say cannot draw. You must use the first 3 steps to tell how you set up. Do you see how stupid it is? Why would you make things less efficient? Why not draw a picture and let everyone understand? It's like you go and buy a TV, okay, from a appliance store lah. Let's say you buy a TV. So when you take out the TV, there will be an instruction manual. Usually the instruction manual, they will tell you how to set up the TV. Do they write it in sentence form? No, they just show you picture. They will show you a TV on a flat surface, tick. A TV on a not flat surface, cross. Okay, and then they will tell you, second step, they will show you a wall plug, plug it and then switch it on. Okay, third picture, they will say on the remote, you press on this button, your TV will switch on. Straight to the point. Do you see them say, first step, make sure you set up a TV on a flat surface, as setting your TV on an unflat surface will cause it to fall and cause damage to the TV. Walao, my goodness. Okay, second step, make sure you plug your TV firmly to the wall and make sure you switch on the plug. Dude, who has time to read? Why not just draw? You see, sometimes your school teacher, I don't understand. Oh, the first 3 steps, you must show them how you set up. Just draw lah. Okay, why not just make your life easier? Okay, so second step is you show the examiner how do you control your MV. How do you control your MV? Like for example, just now my salt. Okay, you cook something, you add salt. You see, when you add salt and one you don't, or you want to say you don't add salt, you're controlling things. You're trying to control your MV. You're trying to show that how do you manipulate things. That's your second step. Okay, I cannot write a second step here because there's no experiment here. Okay, I'm just telling you how do you control MV. Okay, the third step, as you would have guessed it, is how do you control your MV? How do you measure your MV? Do you measure it? Do you observe it? Do you look at your stopwatch? Do you look at the temperature? For example, just now, my cooking one, taste the dish that you have cooked with salt. Does it taste good? Or you eat the one without salt. Does it taste good? What's your response? For your tire one, after driving like 500 kilometers, calculate how much petrol did you use? How much petrol is left in the tank? Is it more fuel saving? What's the response? All right, what's the result that you have gotten? And then number 4, that will be the last step. Number 4 would be to repeat. Okay, repeat the experiment using another MV. So for example, just now I cooked one using salt. Now I repeat one without salt. Okay, I have used brand A tire to test how much petrol I save. Now I switch it to B tire, brand B tire. Okay, I repeat. Or you have tested both, you have cooked both, now you repeat again so you get more accurate result to get average value. So this is how we do it. All right, so this is what you all need to know about your experiment. Sure, I did miss out something, okay, but the main things are here. This is how you score. Okay, so make sure you copy this down. Okay, screenshot this if you need to. All right, these are the formats. Follow my format and go to your exam. You write exactly like me, you are going to score. Don't worry. It is not as hard as you think. Okay, experiments are very easy question. All right, so if you are done, if you understand, let us go to examples. Okay, let's go to example. Okay, so first experiment, let's look at pulse rate. Okay, first and foremost, they won't ask question like this in exam, but you know, it's good to know. It's just an example. Okay, so the first experiment is called pulse rate and gender. Can you see? The pulse rate is the RV, the gender is the MV. Okay, I'm changing my gender, male and female. What is their pulse rate? That's the RV. Right? So, problem statement. Like I said, what's the formula again? Does MV, okay, does MV affect RV? Same thing. Does human pulse rate differ according to gender? You might say, sir, why is theirs different? Okay, why is it not? Does gender affect pulse rate? This is from a textbook. You are not a textbook. Sometimes things from the textbook, you don't copy bulat because they will write something very official, very fancy. Do you need to? No. You are a student, you are just there to score. Do you need to write, ooh, does human pulse rate differ according to gender? How is it different from mine? Does gender affect pulse rate? Is it not good enough? So textbook, they will write it in a more fancy way, but it's the same. All right. So hypothesis. Okay, this one, you cannot just write MV higher, RV lower, because you don't say the higher the gender, the lower the pulse rate, because it makes no sense. If you cannot write more, or less, okay, you cannot write semakin, because your hypothesis, you write semakin, right? So if you cannot write it this way, some values, you cannot just say more. Like, for example, some things are either yes or no. Like here, gender is either female or male. You cannot say the more male or the more female it is. It's either male or female. In that case, you just predict. You just write your prediction. So as you know, female have higher pulse rate, or you just write that like that. So you see, females have higher pulse rate compared to male. Perempuan mempunyai kadar denyutan lebih tinggi berbanding lelaki. You see, they are predicting. You see, you still have your MV in this case. Males and females, they are the MV. And then pulse rate is the RV. You see? So you still have your MV and RV, which means your hypothesis is still correct. It's just that you're predicting it rather than, giving the more and more thing. All right, so moving on, let's go to our aim. So how do you write your aim or objective? Okay, to study the effect of gender on human pulse rate. Easy. To study the relationship between gender and pulse rate. Okay, MV and RV. You see, everything is MV and RV. That's why I say if your MV and RV is wrong, everything will be wrong because everything is depending on them. Okay, even your procedure, you have your MV and RV here, then everything will be wrong. All right, so let's look at our variable. As you know, MV is your gender, RV is your pulse rate. CV, you have many. A lot of things you need to keep constant. You need to keep the same time, same age, because you cannot compare a 50-year-old female and a 10-year-old male. Then that is not accurate at all. It has to be maybe a 20-year-old female and a 20-year-old male. It has to be the same age because we have to take one factor out of it. We only have to look at one factor. All right. So of course, physical activity. You cannot say you ask the female and go and run, and then you ask the male just sit down. Then of course the female would have higher pulse rate because she's running. What you see again, the experiment is not accurate already. It has to be both the same thing. All right. So but the CV in exam, you can just write one lah. You don't need to write like 3 here. Like here, they wrote 3 because it's a textbook. Like I said, you are not a textbook. You just need to write 1. Okay, because variables usually only carries 2 marks, not 3, but 2 marks. So you don't need to write long. Okay, just keep it simple. All right, apparatus and material. You are investigating pulse rate now. You only need a stopwatch. Like I said, this experiment won't cover the exam because it's too easy. Why the hell would they ask you about pulse rate in the question? So no. All right, so what do you do? Okay, let's look at the procedure. The procedure will be a bit different. They do it in a very different way. So carry the activity out in pairs, count the pulse rate of male student in 1 minute as shown. The female student hold the stopwatch and keep time. Male student keep the pulse count. Okay, record in 1 minute, repeat the step. Okay, might say, sir, why are their procedures very different from yours one? Is yours wrong? No, because this one, okay, let me ask you, how do you draw? You can you can draw like this, and then you say the apparatus is set up as shown. Your hand is not an apparatus. I mean, you can do it that way. And then number two, how do you control your MV? There, this is how they control the MV. Okay, count the pulse rate in 1 minute. And then how about number three, the RV? There, record and the pulse rate count in 1 minute. That's the RV. And then number four, okay, you see the repeat. Okay, you see the repeat. So it's not so different from mine, you see. It's a bit similar as well. Okay, and then of course the last one, tabulation of data. Okay, what is tabulation of data? This one they will come in exam. Tabulation of data means they ask you to draw a table, which means you put MV on one column, you put RV on the other column. And can you see the RV is empty? You must say, so why is the RV empty? Because what you are doing now, you are planning the experiment. You are planning. Have you done this experiment? No. Do you know the result? No, unless you're Doctor Strange. You can see into the future. No, you can't. No, you cannot see the future. So you just leave it blank because you have not done this experiment yet. Okay, so leave it blank. All right. So this is how you write an experiment, you see. Okay, let me tell you the marks. Problem statement is 1 mark. Hypothesis is 1 mark. Aim is 1. Variable is 2. Usually they won't ask for apparatus and material. They will give you. Procedure is 4. Tabulation is 1. So you add everything. 1 plus 1, 2, 3, 5. 5 plus 4, 9. 9 plus 1, 10. This is a 10 mark question. Can you write this? Of course you can. The 10 mark belongs to you. Okay, so I always tell my students, this is a must score part in exam. There's no excuse for you to say, oh, sir, I didn't study. Even if you don't study, you will still score this. Okay, your MV, and unless since you have been writing MV, RV, and CV since your primary school, there's no excuse for you to say, oh, sir, I don't know this. Have you been dreaming? Okay, are you drunk? So no, then you will be able to understand. Okay, so next one, let's look at pulse rate and age. This is the same thing. It's just that I'm changing my MV to age. So you see the same thing. Does human pulse rate differ according to age? Does age affect pulse rate? Okay, so you see again, prediction. The older a person is, the lower his pulse rate. Okay, so this one you can use more. You see, the older, the lower. So aim to study the effect of age on pulse rate, or to study the relationship of age and pulse rate. All right, so variable, your MV is age, RV is pulse rate, CV, time, gender, physical activity. All right, stopwatch. And then your procedure, you draw it out. And then number 2, you count the pulse rate. Number 3, record, which is your RV. And 4, repeat. Draw table. You see? You must say, sir, exam got this easy, man. Yes, it is that easy. Don't doubt. It is this easy. I mean, not this experiment, but other experiments. But the point is the same. All right, so you see, the next one, physical activity. This physical activity is my MV now. Yeah, look like the same thing. All right, and the next one, let's look at the next one. This one is different chapter already. Compact bone versus hollow bone. So what would be your MV? That would be the type of bone, right? Your bone is your MV. What is your RV? The strength. Okay, the RV is the strength of the bone. How strong are they? So you see, the problem statement, they are a bit different. They say, is hollow bone stronger than compact bone? You know why? Because there's only 2 types of bone, compact and hollow. So they should really write it in. If you say, sir, I don't like this, can I use your way? Sure. What is the relationship between the type of bone and its strength? Okay, does the type of bone, or you can say, does compact and hollow bone affect strength? Sure. There are many ways to write this. Okay, you don't think that, oh, this thing will not be in schema Jiaoban, then my answer will be wrong. No, this is a very free way of answering. As long as your answer makes sense, you will score. Okay, can. So next, hypothesis. Now this one again, you cannot write more or less. So you have to use prediction. So you can say hollow bone is stronger than compact bone. Memang hollow bone is stronger. This is why our bone is hollow. Our bone is hollow. Our bone is not compact. Compact means the whole thing is full. If you bend a pipe, if you bend an empty pipe is very strong. But if you bend a pipe with cement inside, the thing will break like easily. So this is why. All right. So next variables. Okay. The MV is the type of cylinder. You will say, sir, why is it cylinder? Because they do their experiment using cylinder. If you say, sir, can I write the type of bone? Yeah, sure. Compact bone and hollow bone. And then responding, okay, what number of textbooks, sir, can be supported by the cylinder? Because you see, they put textbook on the cylinder, what? See how many books they can put, what? Strength lah. Okay, the strength of the bone or the strength of the cylinder. And then constant, you need to be in the same length, same diameter. The dimension of the cylinder should be the same. The diameter of the bone should be the same. All right, so apparatus and material. And then procedure, what do? Draw this lah. The apparatus is set up as shown. You see? Radars disusun seperti di atas. First step. Second step, you show them how do you control your MV. Okay, make 4 hollow. You can start with hollow or you can start with compact. Up to you. Okay, make 4 hollow cylinders and put textbooks on it. Okay, place textbooks on it. As you can see, these two are your MV, but they are doing it in 2 steps. You see, make hollow cylinder with diameter measuring 2.5. This one you don't need to say. Okay, you can say make 3 more. You can just really say make 4 hollow cylinder. Okay, and stick each at the corner of a box cover. See, you can put these two in 1 step. Why are they writing it so long? Because this is from a textbook. Okay, takkan in textbook they write short for you. You say, you see textbook also write like that. Why not I write like that? Of course, textbook needs to be more proper. That's why they write it longer. In your case, you can just say make 4 cylinder and stick each cylinder at the corner of a box cover. That's all. 1 step. That's your step 2. You already show how you control your MV by saying about your cylinder. And then step 3, this will be your RV step. Place the textbook 1 by 1 until the paper roll bends. Okay, place textbook until the thing collapse. And then number 4, repeat lah. See, repeat. Repeat using compact cylinder. Is it the same as mine? Yes. You see, my procedure is exactly like that. So next, what do? Tabulation. Cylinder, hollow, compact. This is your MV. And then your number of textbook, your RV. Leave it blank because you haven't done this experiment yet. 10 marks. How is this difficult? You tell me. How is this difficult? So this is must score 10 marks for you. Hey, even in SPM is like that. That's why I tell my SPM students, if you don't score this thing, if you don't score at least, okay, you might say, sir, I might make mistake in problem statement and aim. Okay, fine. You should score at least 8. I always tell my SPM students, if you don't score at least 8 here, then please don't go to the university. Please don't go to the university because you'll be skinned alive. University, I don't care whatever course you are taking. You might say, sir, I'm only taking graphic designing. I'm only taking art stream. I'm only taking business. You will be skinned alive. Okay, university is much harder than this. You cannot even score 8 in this. Then please don't go to university. I'm not even joking. Okay, anyway, so next, let's look at this one growth pattern. No need to see lah, because you see wow, you look at this table, gila lah. They want us, you don't need to draw table as big as this. Okay, so by the way, what are they looking at? So what is the growth pattern? As you know, plant they grow in a sigmoid shape, which is the S curve. Okay, this one you don't need to see. I don't think this will come out in exam. Okay, because this is a bit unrelated. Very hard to write your MV and your RV. Okay, so next one, let's look at alloy. Please put a star here. Please kindly put a star here, because I've lost count how many times this thing has come out. Okay, every year final exam, most school they will ask alloy because this is the only experiment you have done. Okay, so what is an alloy? As you know, alloy is a mixture of 2 metals. They are harder. So you see, what are they doing? They are testing the hardness of alloy. Okay, so what is your MV? MV is either alloy or hard pure metal, or you can say the type of metal. Okay, type of metal. Jenis logam, this would be your MV. And then RV is the hardness of the metal. Kekerasan logam. That would be your RV. All right, so if you look at the problem statement, you might say, sir, why are they writing it like this? Why can't I just say, does the type of metal affect affect hardness? Yes, you can. But as you can see, this type of metal, there's only alloy and pure metal. You can write my way. You can say, does alloy or pure metal affect hardness? You can write it that way. But they are doing this way. They say, is alloy harder than pure metal? You see, like I said, there are a million ways to write this thing. So hypothesis, alloy is harder than pure metal. You see, they are guessing because this one, there's only two. It's either alloy or pure metal. You cannot say the more alloy the metal is, the harder it is, because either alloy is a yes or no. All right, so next aim. What's your aim? To study the hardness of alloy compared to pure metal, or you can say to study the relationship between alloy or pure metal and the hardness of it. Or you can say to study the relationship between type of metal and hardness of alloy or hardness. So boring, isn't it? So boring, isn't it? Because it's the same thing over and over. Okay, so your variable, okay, they will give you the type of metal block, okay, the type of metal, okay, responding, you must say, so what is the diameter of the dent? Because they are doing the experiment like this. They are dropping a weight on a ball, and then the ball will create a dent on the block. So it depends on the diameter. Okay, if the metal is very hard, the dent will be very small. If the metal is very soft, the dent will be very big. So the diameter of the dent is the hardness lah. Same thing. Okay, if you punch a metal which is very soft, it will have a dent, very big dent. If you punch a metal which is very hard, the dent will be very small. So diameter of the dent lah. Same. All right, so constant will be your CV, will be your diameter of the steel ball, height of the weight, mass of the weight. Okay, in exam, they will give you something like this. They will give you this list. They will not tell you how to do. So you need to plan. But you look at this list of material, you will roughly know what are they trying to do already. Copper block, bronze block, you see? This is your metal. Okay, and this is your alloy. Okay, they will give you cellophane tape, they give you thread, they give you steel ball, they give you weight. I see, they give you steel ball and weight and thread, to do lah. Okay, you would hang the weight using the thread, you put the steel ball at the block. You see, even if I don't draw this, you roughly know how to do this. All right. So what do? First step, draw apparatus is set up as shown. First step. Second step, you show about the MV, but they are doing it in 2 steps. Your MV step. You see, they say hang 1 kg weight 50 cm above copper block and release the weight so that it falls onto the steel ball attached to the copper block. You can do this in 1 step. You can just say hang the weight of 50 cm and release the weight so that it falls onto the steel ball. 1 step. And then your RV would be your step 4 here, which is our step 3. Measure the diameter of the dent. Okay, and then number 4, repeat, same thing. Repeat on different surface to they do an average lah. You don't need to do this. You can just say you can no need write this step. Just write this step. Repeat, use replacing copper with bronze. So you see why is the diagram so confusing? Why do they do it 3 times? What do they get average? You can no need write this part. Just draw here. Okay, metal block and diameter. You only need to do it once. Why are they doing it 3 times? As I said, they are textbooks. They need to follow format. You no need. You just need to write it simple. As long as you prove it to your examiner, you know how to do this experiment, you would score. No need to care about the detail. Oh, how many times should I repeat? No need. Just do it like that. You would score your 10 marks. Okay, even I teach biophysics, chemistry, I wouldn't ask them to write more than 4 steps. Okay, they are pure science, they are writing 4 steps. you are just science, you don't need to write more than them because it will make no sense. All right, now just keep it simple. All right, so you can test the corrosion resistance of alloy. This one you read it yourself, it's the same thing. Just now I test hardness, now I test which one will rust easily. So as you know, iron will rust, steel will not rust. It is yourself. All right, and of course, effect of acid and alkaline on latex. If you still remember, latex, when I add acid, this thing will coagulate the latex. Alkaline will keep the latex in liquid form. So how do you do this experiment? Same thing, lor. One you put acid, one you put alkaline, lor. But when you draw, you can just draw one. No need to draw two, because if you draw two, how would you write the fourth step, which is repeat? You already repeat here. So for me, I will only draw one. Okay, so that my step 4, I can say repeat the experiment using alcohol, using alkaline or acid. See which one you use first lah. Okay, so just draw one. All right, so oxidation, same thing. So one, I put antioxidant. If you still remember, salt and your lime juice is antioxidant. They will stop oxidation of apple. Okay, and then this one, I don't put anything. So you study the oxidation of apple lah. Okay, so one I put in lime, one I do nothing. So you observe the yellowing or the browning of the apple. Okay, so boring. Nothing really much to say. Okay, so you pray to God that they don't ask about this lah, gravitational acceleration, which is to test the G. So what they do, they put thicker tape here, and then they release the weight, and then they study the tape. So this one, I don't think they will ask an exam because G, you already know G is 10. Okay, you already know G is 10. So most likely they won't ask. 3, 4, same thing. All right, inertia, yes, this one they will ask. Okay, inertia. So as you know, mass will affect inertia. So mass is my MV, inertia is my RV. So you can see, does mass affect inertia? Does MV affect RV? Okay, so this one you can say the larger the mass, the larger the inertia. This one you can write Martin's margin. Okay, aim to study the relationship between mass and inertia. Oh, exactly same like mine. All right, so variable, which is the mass, they use plasticine here. Corresponding is period. Period is time lah. How long do they shake around 10 times? Constant CV. The length of the blade. Okay, you need to keep it the same length. The shape. All right. So first step, setup as shown. Apparatus setup as shown. Number 2, you make a mass of plasticine here, and then you oscillate this thing. You pull it, and then you release this thing so that they can oscillate. So you see, stick a bit of plasticine with mass 30. Okay, slightly pull the end of the hacksaw blade and release so that it oscillates. So these two are the MV step. Okay, you might say, sir, your MV step is only one. Can I write 2? Sure, it's up to you. As long as you tell the examiner what are you controlling, that will be fine. And of course, number 4, take the time for 10 complete oscillation. So you count 10 oscillation, okay, and then you determine the period. And then the last one will be repeat. Okay, repeat using 40 gram, 50 gram, 60 gram, 70 gram. Easy, huh? Like I said, it's all the same. It's all the same. All right. So let's do one, shall we? Let's try and write one. Okay. If I say, sir, easy for you to say, then how do I answer it? How will a real question look like in exam? Okay, let me show you. Okay, usually, okay, let me do question 3. Let me do question 3. Okay, so usually, in exam, they will give you a box. Inside the box, they will give you a statement. And in this statement, you will understand what are they trying to ask. You should be able to find your MV and RV inside the box also. You see what they say? Alloy has different physical properties compared to pure metal. You see? Alloy, pure metal. This is your MV. Physical properties. I believe they're asking for hardness. So this is your RV already. Okay, let's just say hardness. All right, so one problem statement. What's the problem statement? Okay, does alloy or pure metal, or can just say does type of metal Perfect. Hardness. Okay. Adakah jenis logam mempengaruhi kekerasan? Or adakah alloy atau logam tulen mempengaruhi kekerasan? See, exactly the same thing. Suggest one hypothesis. Like I said, can you say more here? No. So you predict law. Alloy is harder than pure metal. Logam lebih keras daripada. Is alloy harder than pure metal? Yeah, sure. Okay. That one is problem statement. That one is problem statement. Don't write this in hypothesis. Hypothesis, you're not supposed to state question. All right. So now you see, C is where they want you to plan. You see, they give you a list of material. They give you metal ball, copper block, brass block, other apparatus and material. You know what to do lah. Now you see, they are not giving you a weight. So what do? You can hang this ball at a retort stand, and then when you release this ball down to the metal block, you can measure the dent. You must say, sir, different lah. Just now they put ball here, they put a weight here, and then they crush it down. Same thing lah. Okay, you throw a ball down, you also get a dent what? Okay. So what is the aim? Okay, let me write the aim first. Now, what is the aim? No need to write lah. I'll just say to you lah. Aim is to study the relationship between type of metal and hardness, or to study the relationship between alloy or metal, pure metal on hardness. That's your aim. Untuk mengkaji hubungan antara jenis logam or alloy atau logam tulen dan kekerasan and hardness. Alright. Variables. Do you need me to tell you what is MV and RV now? This is so stupid. Why would they ask? You see, they will ask variable at the middle of the question, which by now you already know, because you don't know. If you don't know your variables are, how would you answer these few questions? So this is an oxymoron. Okay, you already know. So procedure. Okay, let me write the procedure. Okay, so first, number one, draw this thing. So how do you write your first step? The apparatus is set up as shown. Okay, radas disusun seperti ditunjukkan. Okay, and then number two, the metal ball is released so that it hits the. Okay, let's start with copper first lah. The copper block. Okay, bola logam dibebaskan supaya terkena pada block room. You translate yourself lah. I'm just too lazy for it. Okay, so number three, the dent on the copper block is measured. Okay, and then number four, the experiment is repeated using, what are they using? Are they using brass? Okay, brass block. Okay, eksperimen diulangi dengan block loyang. Brass is loyang, right? Yeah, I think it is. There you go. Okay, 4 marks. Wow, easy peasy. And then tabulation, even easier. You have your block, which is copper and brass. Hardness. Oh no, sorry, not hardness. This should be the dent of the block. Okay, diameter of the dent. Okay, leave it empty because you're just planning this experiment. 10 marks. Is this hard? Not at all. How is this hard? You tell me. Okay. I have repeated this. This is the 4th time I repeat this week. My goodness, I want to vomit already this thing. And to make matter worse, 2 weeks ago, I just taught Form 5. I just repeated this thing on Form 5. Okay. I have 4 Form 5 classes. I already said it 4 times 2 weeks ago. This week, I said it another 4 times. You say I want to vomit or not? I've repeated experiment for 8 times in the same month. Okay, my goodness, yo. So if you don't score this, translating to Malay for me, hard. Huh? Why is it hard? Okay, you see, radas disusun seperti ditunjukkan, logam bola dibebas supaya terkena pada blok chrome. Okay, what is then? Then is gamete, right? Okay, gamete pada blok kuprum diukur, eksperimen diulangi menggunakan blok loyang. Why is this hard? If it's hard for you, then you can write English, right? You can write the whole thing in English, right? It's just that you guys, you can switch language, but it has to be the same question. Let's say question 1, A, B, C, D, you want to use English, everything has to be English. And then question 2, you want to say you want to write BM, and then question 2, A, B, C, D, you have to write BM. You cannot jumpo, A, you write English, B, you write BM. No, one question has to be one language. You can do it that way. No problem. All right. So is this hard to understand? No, right? Not at all. Okay, it shouldn't be hard to understand. It should be like easy second nature to you. All right, so I think I'm gonna stop here today. I know there are still 5 minutes, but honestly, I really have nothing to say already. You can go home and try all these. You can try doing this. Okay, try this yourself. See, this is inertia. Okay, this is inertia. One is low mass, one is high mass. And then this one has higher inertia. Okay, you see how they let you plan the experiment? They give you 2 pails. Okay, they give you sand and other apparatus. What to do lah? You just hang it here. You hang your pail here. You hang it on a string. You start with empty and then you shake it. Okay, you let this thing oscillate. You see how long for it to stop. Okay, and then you repeat this using one with sand. As you know, the one with sand, it will stop in a very long time, whereas the empty one will stop in a very short time. This is how we do it. All right, you can go home and try yourself. So next week, let me tell you what to do. Next week we will go into essay, which is like what I said. Your section C, essay is in question 11 and 12. But don't worry, you need to answer 1 out of 2. 2 questions, you will choose 1. This one is your essay question. This one will carry 10 to 12 marks. I'll go into that next week. All right, so that's it for today. Okay, so I hope you learned something new. So go home and practice, write more. You should have written this plenty of times already. From Form 1 to Form 4 or Form 3, you have done so many experiments, you have written many reports, right? Okay, writing science report is like one part of your homework in science. You should know by now. All right, so I hope you learned something today. Although this is not something new, you should already know by now. Okay, we will continue this by next week. All right, so I hope you have a happy weekend. I will see you next week. All right, so take care and bye-bye.